Melbourne. He's trying to figure out his deal. So,
Oh, wow. Okay.
might chime in or not.
All right.
See how he goes.
All right. Very good.
Yeah.
Well, we are now officially broadcasting live. And shall we start it right now, guys?
Let's go.
Let's do it. All
Rock
right.
and roll.
Make it happen. Short and sweet. Very good. I'll turn the floor over to you, John. Here you go. You can introduce us to today's guest.
Okay. Today we have a very special guest for you. His name is Micky Dymond. Not sure if you have a middle name, Micky, but Micky Dymond. He came to us probably around Crusty Demons 2. So we had already finished Crusty 1, and Micky was a champion racer in motocross. Micky can kind of give us his background, but yeah, very special guest for us to relive some early years of us making Crusty films and also exploring, early California.
Free dog.
Yeah, go ahead.
I gotta chime in, dog. I can't even hold myself back. All right, Micky Dymond coming into the show. Welcome, Micky. And I'm just gonna lay it out there right now. Micky, out of everybody that we took to the hills with and rode the hills with, I mean, Micky is all time probably one of the most skilled, talented. Saw the vision of the jumps, and I can't say enough about how much of a pioneer and how much of the things in the hills are dedicated to Micky. And I don't think there's to this date, there's no one that has shoveled up a bigger hit than I've ever seen anyone try to do ever. And not just because they wanted some dumb Kodak courage, because of skill, pure talent, and determination. So with that aside, let's hear from Micky. What do you think, Mick Dog?
Well, thank you. What an intro. It was always super fun to go ride with you guys. I came from knowing Manly, and Manly had been working on the first one with you guys, and he would call me on occasion, like, "Hey, come and meet us here. We're just jumping stuff and filming," and I never could make it, for the first episode, but after that came out, it just looked like you guys are having so much fun, and the music was in the videos was awesome, and my kids loved watching the Crusty Demons. In fact, we watched it till we wore them out, and then have to get a new one because
it was on
they
VHS
liked it so much. So
they would break.
Yeah. Then I showed up for while you guys were filming the second one at a couple different places, just by where I used to ride with Brian.
Well, so, let's. I'll tell you what. I know that we call it G Spot up there by the Prado Dam, and I know Brian, and we had kind of like a secret way to get in there, and you came up there with us, and I think it was maybe Larry Ward or somebody had made a track up there way back in the day, or maybe something about there was some outdoor tracks up there. But that was where, we did. We had the.
I lost my sound, Brenda.
We lost sound. Are you there? We need. Where's our tech guy, Johnny?
I'll reach out to him.
Okay, so can you hear us, Mick?
Oh, he's muted. You can unmute yourself, Micky. You're muted.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Unmute. There you go.
I lost a little bit of that.
Okay, so Mick, going
I
back
couldn't
to
hear you fit.
all right, going back to G Spot. I was talking about what we call G Spot, and when you came out there, when we came out with Manly, we started doing stuff. The whole area, we made a track on top of a
I'm,
plateau that used to be a runway. And if you remember that
I'm
plateau,
still not hearing Dana.
oh damn, I'm not muted, am I? Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you just
Can you
fine.
guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we got you.
I don't
Yes.
hear Dana.
Oh damn. All right. Well, I was telling the story about when you made a tabletop out of the whole freaking airport we had up there, and then the step up I was going to talk into, but I don't know. Well, can you hear me now, Mick? Why don't you take over, John, and we'll go into some of that footage.
Okay. So
I can't hear
Mickey,
Dana.
you can't
Yes,
you can't
Well, I'm gonna
hear
step back.
Dana? No?
I can hear you fine, but I can't no more.
Damn it.
Okay. All right. Anyways, I'll say what Dana was saying, that, you know, when we found that spot that we called G Spot, uh, remember we went through there with Mark Matson, and we'd unlock the locks and we'd go way up on the hill, and on the top used to be an airport, and there was a airplane hangar on the top. And Dana's talking about that you used to, you know, make stuff out of the dirt up there and make huge like tabletops and this and that. That place was like gold for us. That's why we called it G Spot.
Well,
G-spot, yeah.
that's Johnny. That's where Mickey shoveled out the biggest step up anyone's ever attempted in the world. The biggest step
Can
up.
you hear Dana
You
right
remember
now?
that? You remember that, Mickey?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
here we
Step
go.
up was the biggest thing. I went and bought a weed whacker. We went at it a couple times. Remember, we whacked out the landing, and you didn't make it to the landing. But
No.
tell us about that, Mickey. That was the most impressive fucking jump I've ever attempted to film anyone on ever.
Well, it started as just to be vertical, just up to the plateau.
Yeah.
And then when we backed up and looked at it from a little further away, if you hit it fast enough, it was possible that you could jump up onto the next level, which was, there was a big tree up there that probably needed to be chopped up as well.
Yeah.
But just to get up there, it would have worked as a landing to go around it. And then we did chopped up some grass and stuff so you could land up there, but we just couldn't go, you know, maybe with a new bike like a 450 that was pretty fast you could get it, but it was too high.
It was like 100 feet, Mickey. It was like 100 some feet, dog. It was insane. You were fifth gear taped and you didn't make it.
Hey, Maestro, if we could go to Crusty 3.
We'll take a look.
02.
Yeah.
Crusty 3.
Yeah. See, that looks like
Crusty 3?
Crusty,
Okay.
No, Crusty 3.
Yep. Okay. We'll cut. Okay.
Hey, is that you in the back, Mickey, with the long hair?
Yeah.
Go to Crusty
It is.
3 02 36. Mickey Super Cliff Jump.
0236.
Yep.
0236. 0236. Here we go.
This is my favorite jump I've ever tried to film ever in my whole.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's it in the background. I can see it.
Yeah, it's like 100-foot step up. I mean, I made it to the plateau because we used to dare each other to try to go up the hill as dumbasses. But
you used a cliff as something to propel you over the mountain.
you know, no, Mickey, I've always wanted to go back like with a tractor and fix the in run so you could get a in run at it. Like there's one jump.
Yeah.
There's one jump in snowboarding that I never did. It was a cliff jump with 2 trees you had to go through, and it was never right. And it was like it was as dumb as that, but I never went back. And I can imagine you've probably thought about that jump again to go back or have somebody jump it.
Yeah. Twitch asked me a while ago where it was
Oh, really?
because they were going jumping things that other people had worked on, and he wanted to go out there, and so I basically told him where it was, but he hasn't been out there yet. But maybe.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Linkogel asked us the same questions.
Link ain't gonna hit it. Link won't hit it. Twitch might.
He wanted to know where it was, though.
Dude, I would. Hey, we can get a tractor up there. We can get a tractor to it if we can find somebody. Because I want to go back to Kamikaze and have people hit Kamikaze again too. Like those two jumps are all time. But no, Mickey, like I can't even say enough about how like it's one of the most impressive motorcycle jumps anyone's ever attempted to do. You know what I mean? As far as just being in the hills, and it's just it still can be greased. I think it's still not over, right?
Yeah.
Some kid somewhere.
Yeah, like I was saying, maybe a new bike you would have a lot better up to the top. And if you did have the thing is going down the hill,
you could take like a Colby Raha or something.
Speed.
Yeah, the in run. You couldn't get enough speed on the in run. Well, let's check it out. Would you walk us through it? Maestro could freeze. Maestro,
go ahead, Maestro.
Hey, afterwards, freeze frame it on the fucking money.
Boom! That's a cliff jump.
Yeah, like
that you used as a jump, and people were trying to land just on top of the cliff. That was pretty impressive.
That's fucking dumb. Like, if I were you, I'd have that painted on my whole wall.
Heck yeah.
All right.
That's sick.
Let it inch.
Oh my God.
You were close.
But look at that. Look at it. Back up and look at that thing. Like, what the fuck were you thinking? Back it up. Back it up.
Back her up, Maestro. Like, that's a cliff jump right there. That was impressive just to make it up that.
Totally.
But Mickey's using that as a jump.
Oh my God.
I think right there where you're at that same height, I think I heard his name earlier in a conversation, but there was somebody up there filming. And I was
is there a guy up there? Is that Dana up there?
Yeah.
I think I filmed the back shot. I filmed this shot, and then
okay.
Somebody
who's
else
on the top? I don't even know who's up there.
I think
there's
he was
another
a
shot.
rider. He was also a rider, and I rode with him a couple times. I'm not sure what his name was, and I'm sorry. I had a head injury a little while ago.
I can't remember, and I was the guy filming it.
Had you hit that little grassy spot, you think you could have pulled it?
Yes.
Yeah, you're right there.
Well, right there, you're about 10 feet out, right? Or 5 feet out.
Yeah, and your upward momentum stopped, so you would be barely moving when you got there.
Yeah.
So you could actually land up there if you were far enough up there.
Just short.
I think I was short too. Like I needed to go another 10 feet forward as well as up.
I think there's a side view too somewhere. Did you come across the other shots of it anywhere, John?
No. I think that's one of the best angles. We probably do, but I came up with this one.
Yeah, dude, that is just, man, I can't even say enough, man. That thing's just, I still think about that thing all the time. It's the baddest. I'm gonna call Twitch and see if he wants to go find it.
I'd like to see him do it. Yeah.
I don't think Twitch is going to do that one.
With the right in run, somebody will do it though.
Probably like a Colby Raha or one of these guys.
Well, you know what the funny thing is, John? Hey, you know what the funny thing is they'll drag a big old fucking airbag up there and they'll go do it with a big old airbag on the face of it. And then if they grease it, they'll take the fucking Photoshop and take the airbag out. Right, Mickey? Hey, what do you think about the airbags, Mickey? Because fuck, you never had an airbag.
No, but I would feel better. My, I was paying for the guys to do the jumps. If you did have it,
Like a
I would
live
feel
show.
better about it. Yeah,
Right.
the nuclear cowboys that we did, we had airbags, and every now and then one would get punctured, so we'd have to center one up by itself. We had two on the big landing, and every now and then one would get punctures, and we use one to get through it. But it was so many years doing it without anything. I just
When we had like steel frames and plywood landings and that kind of thing. A lot of people went to the hospital. So yeah,
I'm
a little
losing
bit
John
different.
now.
Oh, break time.
Oh, you can't hear John right now?
You got me, Mick?
I think
Am I back?
I got you. I got you now.
Okay. What I was saying that airbags, it stopped a lot of people from going to the hospital because, man,
Yes.
with plywood and steel frames and stuff like that back in the day, we did take a lot of people to the hospital.
Oh,
Yes.
Jesus. The
Yes.
sports
I'm glad that there's inflatable landings, even if it's a cover,
Yeah.
well,
And
with
they
that,
can execute their tricks like way over the top and not worried about so much of an injury. I mean, you can get injured on those things, but the capability goes up, another, I don't know, 20-30% that you're going to land the thing and you're going to be okay, and we're not taking you to the hospital.
even on our shows before, back in the day when we started doing the resi mats and stuff, that used to really help on, when people started doing double flips and front.
Yeah. Yeah, the resi mats.
Yeah.
yeah.
The resi mats were pretty good. They're a little tough to deal with. I mean, I know the airbag's like a blow and go thing.
Hey, a question for Micky, and this would be of interest to Dana and our viewers out here. The steel takeoff ramp. How did that come about, Micky? Because we didn't have, it was dirt to dirt, and you were involved in inventing.
The first freestyle competition, it was just dirt takeoffs and a dirt bowl. But then when I think you had a hand in that whole development, right? Of just making a duplicate takeoff jump type of per se.
Yes, we well, I did a thing in '98, and it was a ramp to ramp demo, and it went along that music tour, and we could set it up pretty much right beside where the main stage was, so we could do demos while bands were playing. So it was there was also a skate ramp doing the same thing, but we were the first to do a motorcycle one, and we didn't have time to bring in dirt to build it like that. So we just built 2 takeoffs and 2 landings. And, that was the start of it. And then I took those 2 takeoffs, and that company that was called LXD, in the late '90s, they started a freestyle competition, like not a tour, but maybe we did 2 or 3, and then they would add them as we went. And the first one was at Orange County at the fairgrounds, and we used both of those same ramps at that show because it was really small in there.
Micky, tell us what's it made out of?
Wait a minute.
What did you make out of it? How did you make it?
They're steel. They were steel, and then we had expanded metal for the face, but then we laid on top. I think it was 1 1/8 inch, but it might have been a couple of 3/4 inch sheets of plywood, and it did come apart in the middle, so it was a 2-piece structure. I think the first two weren't,
Mhm.
but then we make them in sections so you can travel them better.
Well, you know,
But
let me throw this at you.
We basically found a jump out at Larry's house, and it looked good, and we tried to figure out a way to go from zero to
just for our
8 foot high.
viewers, Larry Linkhogel's house.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
It was out at Link's.
Well, we
had a friend that was a car builder and custom cars, drag race cars, and so we had a metal shop in Corona, and I met him through another guy that was in there in the beginning. I'm drawing blanks, but
that's all right.
We kind of drew it out on the wall in his shop in Corona,
Mm-hmm.
and it looked like, hey, I would hit that on a motorcycle. That's a great jump, and it didn't, it didn't take much more than that to figure out how to build a couple of them out of metal.
Yeah.
And his name was Nathan,
Uh-huh.
and I'm drawing a blank on his last name, and I haven't spoke to him in many years, but he built the first ones, and then I had him build. I might get in trouble for saying this, but the first X Games, I rented 4 ramps,
Uh-huh.
and that was in the budget. And after we got a deposit for that, we decided to build those ramps that we're renting.
Yeah.
So he built 4 more after that, and we built a little bit different in the shape. Since then, you can do a straight radius. You can do a lot of different things, but a motorcycle ramp, you wanted it to have a good belly, but also a little kick. So we would try a couple different things.
Yeah.
Well, let me chime in, Nick.
For the rider.
Can you hear me?
Once we build them out of steel, the action of the bike was more consistent. It you didn't hit a hole or your suspension did something weird. Those steel ramps really put you up high, and you could only go so far on one, because if you hit it too fast, people were getting hurt doing that too. And yeah.
And
after a while,
you designed them for what, 75-foot gap kind of thing?
Yeah, it was. We thought we were thinking it was 100, but after we got to about 90 feet, we started destroying the landing ramp. We would destroy the wood surface on the ramp. So
hard,
yeah.
Hey, can you hear me, Mickey?
That was the sweet spot, and you didn't want to do anything more than that.
Yeah. Hey, can you hear Dana? He's got a question for you.
Am I blown out again on Mickey's deal?
No. Oh, you're good. No, I hear you fine.
There you go.
All right. Well, I just want to chime in on this one. I think all the freestylers out there, the whole world of freestyle, which it created a sport, going from Vegas, going to you, Micky Dymond, creating the takeoff ramp, the portable takeoff ramp, pretty much, locked in, and it became a sport and a revenue stream for a lot of people. So they all owe you, thank you, and a hat tip. And then all the ways back to the Warped Tour, maybe me and John should get a little tip off too, because remember we sent our Weekend Warrior on tour with you guys, and that's the last time we ever fucking saw it. It got destroyed. Thanks to Vogel and everybody.
That was the one that caught on fire in Utah? Or?
No, that was the one that the axles bent. You guys put so much shit in it that it came back and the axles were fucking bent in half, and they put stickers all over it, and it just destroyed all the covers. So we took it up to G-Spot and left it at G-Spot for our
that's right. Yeah.
Wound up giving it to Casey Curry.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, why don't we, hey, Maestro,
Good times though, Mick.
why don't we go to Crusty 2, uh, G Spot Mickey 2020.
Crusty 2.
Is this when we had Pastrana out there?
No, this is G Spot. We never took Pastrana up there.
Yeah. This is the big tabletop and shit,
Yeah,
right?
we'll come into Pastrana here shortly.
Yeah, you made a tabletop out of the whole plateau. Remember?
There's a Husaberg in the back of the truck.
Yeah, you want to go to 2020 on
Got it
Crusty
right here,
2
dialed
there,
up.
Maestro.
Okay.
Yeah, here it is.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
And Mickey, maybe describe your feeling when we arrived like at that gate. You're probably wondering, what is this place? Maybe you'd been there before. I don't know, but
Well, surprisingly, I was there at that same gate with Eric Krippa in Honda in a box van, and we caused a collision out on the street on that 71 or whatever it is.
Really?
Yeah, we had somebody ran into the back of the car behind us and caused a big wreck.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty narrow, and that road is
Mark
only
Madsen
2 lanes.
Opening the gate for us.
Yeah, I love this part. He's shaking his
Yeah, we're not
pocket.
hearing
It's
the
full of
sound, but we
change.
had like the slapping and this and that and jingling of the coins. And there you are with Honeybee. Joel.
Yeah, look at that place.
Micky Dymond.
There's Mickey.
Yeah, there's one of those Husabergs.
Where are you going there, Mick?
Oh,
damn.
That was an interesting jump too.
Yeah, you can go back.
Yeah, that was we called it. Didn't we call that thing like the telephone pole or the mound or something?
That thing was cool. Describe that one, Mickey.
Trigger claimed that jump. He saw it. And,
yeah.
Right.
And he we helped him shovel, and he took some time to do it, and then he landed on the edge and like flipped him over.
Oh, he cartwheeled on that thing big time.
Yeah, so he was like, okay, well,
yeah,
whatever. So he didn't care that I did it. So that was that one.
And then after Trigger's you did it, Emmett did that one as well. You and Emmett greased that thing, but Trigger did not.
It was hard because you couldn't see where that ledge was.
Yeah.
You were just kind of guessing that you were going to land into the left side of it.
Yeah.
I think Trigger landed like right on the edge.
So if we can go to, let's see, where are we at? 21?
Yeah, right there is about where Trigger landed, I think.
On his front tire. Yeah.
You have a G-Spot Mickey 2 at 2251.
Yeah, 2251. Let's check that one out.
That was a great place to go ride.
Yeah, it was fun. I remember that little
Nobody did that one, Mick. You were the first one. Go over that road gap.
Yeah, the down road jump.
A little step downer.
Step down.
Is there more, Mick, on this one? Let's see. 2136. Right there.
Whew.
That one. Yeah.
Let's go to 23. Do you want to keep going to 23?
Yeah.
Yeah, go to 2322.
All right, cool.
Yeah, let her roll.
About that little snake
Oh, that's the one
that's where you use that.
Yeah, that's where it started. That's where it all started.
So
yeah, and we thought that was so cool that you made that cliff jump.
Yeah.
Just let it play.
Boom.
Let this little Sagi go.
Yeah, let that go, Maestro. That's Joel Albrecht right there. There's Mick.
Oh, well, I landed on the edge there too.
Yeah, you did.
All right.
That's Joel Albrecht there.
The bee.
Yeah, we used to take him up there all the time. Did you know Joel before that, Mickey?
Yeah, I knew Joel and his brother Jeremy, again, through Manly. Manly knew a lot
Through
of those
Manly,
guys to
yeah.
begin with.
Yeah,
so.
Manly was a big catalyst to a lot of stuff, man.
That's Seth
Yeah.
Enslow right there.
Yep.
And there's the Mr. Albrecht.
Well, there he is on his
on the lowrider. Dana probably fixed that thing up.
Yeah, I hooked him up. That's what happens when the motocross dudes moved to Huntington.
There's Jeff Amick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really cool place out there.
Yeah, here's Albrecht trying to ride the pipe. We can stop right there.
All right, cool.
Let's jump to on same movie, Crusty 2, 3145.
3145.
Yeah. Jump into there.
Oh my God, love that cartoon too.
Good old
Tour Bowl of Motocross. Here you are, Mick.
Oh!
You're just doing the gap with no jump.
Oh, and this is where I used to live, out in the desert. That was in Palm Desert.
Yeah,
no,
right?
This is Beaumont right there. I know where that is.
Beaumont.
Yeah.
That's Beaumont.
That's
it is.
Oh my God.
You didn't even have a jump. What did you just push some dirt up a little bit?
We just kicked a little dirt up.
Yeah. Little kickaroo, dog.
Yeah.
And the elevation.
So for the fans out there, this is like what we encountered with Mickey filming. He'd be like, "Yeah, I'll just kick a little dirt up." And
Mick,
I'll just go over this thing.
Remember when we brought Pastrana came out? We brought him out to Beaumont a few times out there, and you came out with us, and those are a couple good days.
Yeah.
Let's let it run for a minute.
Yeah, let it run past this. I think we have another Mickey big one.
You know, whenever you went out,
that's a road jump. That's way out in the desert. That's Deegan there. But you can stop Maestro on that. Why don't we go to Crusty 3, Mickey and Travis Pastrana, 1804.
Crusty 3, 1804.
Yes, sir.
It was always fun to go ride with Travis or Travis. We burned a lot of fuel just looking around and messing around.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'd make little tracks, and we'd find but it was always he had to keep moving a lot. So we just built stuff.
Here you are. You're on helmet cam following Travis Pastrana. He's 13-year-old kid in a playground that he never knew about, coming from Maryland, and you're showing him kind of our area. And was he like a kid in a candy store, Mickey?
Yeah, sort of.
You can go ahead and play, Maestro. This is good.
Keep filling the gas tank and just keep following.
Yeah. So that's Mickey on helmet cam. We can keep going. So that is another angle of what you guys were jumping, and you're following with helmet cam. Now, Mick, what were you thinking here? Like, I'm just going to fly over the whole mountain, or?
Oh, I thought I could land on the downside, but it just, I don't know how many times I tried that, but it didn't.
There's your buddy Phil. We can stop right there, Maestro.
Yeah, that one was a good one. You were the only one that ever attempted that one.
Yeah, nobody else did that one. Let's go to, let's see. Same thing, Crusty 3, 1904, Maestro.
1904 coming up.
Yes, sir.
Here we go.
Okay, now Mickey, you got to explain what is that thing. You can stop, Maestro.
Oh,
What is that thing that you built right there?
No, that was
well, I had nothing to do with it, but
me and
it was
Ciotti
You
built
you
it.
were there that day, and you told Travis not to go.
it was it was cut out and beat up, and then it had
Yeah.
silt in the middle, so the little flat areas was kind of
Yeah.
silty, dusty, dirty, you know, and
Yeah.
and then there was a couple sharp edges, and then if you look where he's jumping, it was like
Yeah.
a mound of grass, so you couldn't even see if there was anything like rocks or anything underneath
Yeah,
the grass.
Yeah.
And it was a little landing.
Uh-huh.
I know I never jumped it. I think he did, and then Brian Deegan jumped it.
Yeah, well, Deegan didn't want to get upstage, so this
Well,
little
Yeah, it
kid
was-
that was 13, he's like, yeah, that kid's not gonna, take me out like this.
Me
I
and
want a better film part than this guy.
Nick
yeah,
Ciotti
it's
and I
like, it's like
shoveled that
putting
thing.
whoopsie-doos on the takeoff ramp. That's what it was.
When we
And then
made
there
that
was like
jump,
a big ledge
sat
in
there.
there that if you didn't hit it, you hit it on the edge, it was gonna spit you that way. So
Let that go, Maestro. Where's Travis going here? That thing
Shoot.
boots you, and if you don't hit it, sweet. Yeah. And there's Travis, like doing ridiculous stuff, following you, Mick, and then here you are.
yeah, that
If
one
you
was
fly a whole
was
mountain.
pretty big jump, but again,
Here's
it didn't-
Deegan, because
Oh,
he
yeah.
wasn't going to get upstaged on the. We called it the diving board.
Well, you know that jump sat there for like fucking 3-4 months before anybody hit it.
yeah.
Yeah, and
I-
McGrath didn't want to hit it. You didn't want to hit it.
I know.
But Travis
I know
just
I
went.
did,
We can
like,
stop
didn't
right
have
there,
that day
Maestro.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ciotti.
Some days anything. Some days you can't.
Well, Ciotti and I built that jump, and we're snowboarders, so the way it was set up, it was more of a snowboard style jump than anything. That's why it sat there for so long.
Hey, why don't we jump to Crusty 3?
It didn't look sweet. It was
Yeah.
going to be bumpy, and you know you were. Yeah, that wasn't neat for that day.
Crusty 3,
A lot of those
Maestro.
other
Let's
times
go
that
to.
I think one time me and Pastrana got up early, and we were at like Dumont, and we went out in the sands and made.
I'm going to take you to what we called
little loops.
what we called Grabump, and
keep doing the jumps.
Yeah.
And by
Let's
the time
go to Crusty 3, 32,
we
16,
wore them out
Maestro.
before you guys were able to come with the cameras. So a lot of them you didn't even get to see, but there was always something with when you have somebody that you're riding with that's having fun, and you guys are both kind of, going off each other, figuring out what would be the cool things, that you could make. And yeah, Travis is really.
I remember those trips, Mickey. Travis would wake up like as soon as first light, and you and him would be just gone. Everybody else would be sleeping till 10 o'clock, and you guys would just be burning things all morning long. It's funny. That was a good time.
Maestro, go to Crusty.
He was still on
Crusty
East
3,
Coast
32,
time.
16.
He was,
Crusty 3, 32, 16.
7 for us,
Coming
but
up.
it was like 10 for him.
Yeah, well, I remember when he came out, he stayed at my house. He'd put himself to bed at 8 o'clock at night. You know what I mean? He had a little schedule he'd follow, and he'd be up bright and bushy tail, ready to go every morning. Good old days.
Yeah.
Okay, is this going to be Grabump right here?
There was always.
Grabump.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We had never been to this place, Mickey. It was a newfound place. That's kind of getting there on the way in the desert.
John's new truck.
Yeah, right there. And there's our camp. There's Healy.
And there's
right
Mike
there.
Healy.
Here you are, Mick. Flying over mountains. Yeah.
I'm just remembering that
There's you and Travis.
I had no fender.
We gave you guys like a
We
playground.
ripped off the fender. I can't even remember how I did that, but
I think you've got a helmet cam on your helmet.
we made a couple big jumps there that were kind of cool, like that one, like over the mine shaft.
Yep.
That wasn't very responsible, telling you guys to jump on a mine shaft that's like 50 years old, right? There's Healy, great racer back in the day.
Holy crap.
Is that Healy? Maybe. Here's Mickey. There you go, on top of the mine shaft. And here's the 13-year-old.
Oh.
So Mickey's on the helmet cam right here, just chasing the kid. Yeah. That's a different area, but let's see.
All right, hey, let's talk about this for a minute. Hey, Mick.
Yeah, go for it.
You remember this place was like all these like natural mud humps, right, Mickey?
Yeah.
And you pretty much just rip lines all over them. Well, about a year ago, my wife and I were coming back from V-Town, right? And we took the back road to go through Dumont, and we went through Shoshone and Tacopa, and that's where that stuff was kind of hidden in there. And it was funny because we saw these people out in the hills with brooms wiping away like footprints. Like you're not even supposed to walk out in those mud humps and all that now. It's all like, natural and stuff. So,
really?
yeah, I'm not too sure like you can ride that spot anymore. I mean, I'm not saying I was looking at the exact spot, but
well, we took McGrath out there.
They're cleaning it up.
I've seen them out there like trying to erase footprints, like it was like some natural wonder. You know what I mean? Don't walk in the mud humps or whatever. But they're doing that all around Dumont. They block off different areas for just knuckleheads that want to go look at flowers or whatever the hell's going on. But yeah, I was cracking up. I was thinking about that when we went and rode because you guys blew some sick lines out there.
We damaged those mud humps.
The mud humps. We took McGrath out there for
I was gonna say
filming Steel Roots.
I thought you were gonna say I drove by and you could see all the same lines that you guys made. Because there's
no, dude. They're out there with fucking leaves and brushes and trying to make the dirt look all natural, dog. That is like, holy shit.
You gave people ideas.
They need a good strong rain and it'll go back to as it used to be.
It just goes right back.
No, not saying that I was at the spot we were at, but I just noticed I was looking for it and I noticed it's like they just took that shit serious out there. They're like, no, don't go in our mud hills anymore.
Well, they arrested Seth, remember?
Yeah.
He was riding all over for Steel Roots
I
for
know
the
that
McGrath
when we would go to Dumont, there was the place that everybody went to camp and ride and drive dune buggies and stuff. But it was like you were trespassing, or I think even on that trip, I think we had to race out of there because the BLM was coming.
Yeah, it was a secret spot.
They were after us.
I don't know if that was like I was remembering that right, but
we got away.
Yeah, no, you remembered that right. Yeah, it was. It's not like we were going to take Travis at 13 to a spot that was legal to ride, were we? I mean, well, I'll rephrase that.
Well,
we weren't going to take him to a motorcycle track.
We didn't take him to the strip bar. We took him to Grabon, right?
Beaumont was the place same thing.
When I was, when I rode for a living, and when I rode for Honda and Yamaha, there's tracks out there that I would go to and then get riding. We didn't have so many tracks to go, that you could pull in, pay and and ride. There were times
Yeah.
where everything was closed down, and then you had to go out into the hills or to the track that Honda owned or Yamaha owned. So you had to find places like that to ride. I had tracks that were in my town in Yorba Linda in the 80s that I could get away with, spending an hour there and get my training in.
Hey, Mickey, did you ever ride Claude Osteen's? Remember that? The
I
riding part?
I no, I never got to, but I was there with my dad.
I went there when I had
I'm
an
aware of it.
XR75. And then Saddleback Park, we rode Saddleback Park. And then what was the one at Beaumont, out by Beaumont? What was that called?
Deanza.
Deanza, that's
The
right.
Deanza, yeah.
Yeah.
We could access it by going through one of the little culvert tunnels.
Yeah.
From where we would ride in Beaumont, we could ride into the park. And, it was closed down then, but you could still go over there.
Yep.
Hey,
Yeah,
Mickey, I'm kind of interested, before we kind of start hanging out with you and we find these interesting places, what was your background before we kind of collided and you came into the Crusty movies and stuff like that? You were coming off some championships in motocross, and give us a little background.
Okay. The early 80s and actually late 70s, I rode a little bit and I started to race.
Yeah.
And I rode motocross, and I grew up in Southern California. So I was in Yorba Linda, and believe it or not, the neighbor that moved in across the street, he owned a GMC dealership, but his son, who was a year younger than me, they were into racing too. He ended up purchasing Saddleback, and so the neighbor owned Saddleback Park, in the mid 80s, the early 80s, basically, 82 to 80, maybe 85. And I raced there for years, as well as some of the better races I did as a pro were there. But I became a pro racer in the early 80s. By 85, I rode for Husqvarna. I rode for Mako before that, a couple of big companies that were European. And then in 85 on a Husky, I had some good results, and I got a ride with Honda. So 86 and 87, I rode for Honda, and I did win 2 championships back to back. I won 125 national championships, and then I moved to another brand, to Yamaha, and I rode 2 years to do 88, 89 on Yamaha, and that wasn't as good as it was on a Honda, but I ended up doing a couple more years in Europe in the early 90s, and then came home and was kind of retired in 93 to maybe 95, and then I started to dabble a little bit again.
That's when we met you in about 95.
Yeah, it was probably about then. Yeah. Yeah.
So, Mickey, what was more fun? Chasing the dream of being a champion motocross racer, or free riding in the hills, or is it just all fun?
It's all of the above. It's there was I wish that I a more adult mind when I was younger, so that I could have extended all. I mean, everybody does, but it would have been a lot longer career if I had at least a notion of what the consequences were about what I did. Yeah. But
because you had a couple of big crashes doing movies and freestyle and this kind of thing. I know you had a big one in Mexico. You tried to jump over a whole road or something like that. That was a big one, if you remember that one, because you knocked your noggin pretty good on that one.
Well,
well, there was. It is.
Yeah.
It's almost like I don't know. You can look back and pick things apart, but
yeah,
there was a lot of times where I took a lot of risk on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And my life was not that much better, you know. And then when I'm doing those things, I was able to do those jumps and walk away, and was, you know, pretty much unscratched. And
yeah.
And then I'm out on a bicycle ride, you know, and I'm in a coma for a week, you know, for falling.
Was that where you were riding across the country in a race kind of thing?
No, this was just the last, you know, the head injury that I had.
You're training, right? You're training.
It was, yeah, but it was more like a ride with David Bailey. He's on a hand cycle. And then my dentist, Steve Weidler. The three of us are riding from Yorba Linda to Huntington, basically, down the bike path. You know, not on a like busy, high-speed road. It was a bike path, and apparently I hit something, and there's no risk in it. It just, I hit something, and then I was on my head. So yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
It's just a matter.
And tell the viewers out there, you had to go to the hospital. You were in a coma. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was in and out of consciousness when I fell.
Yeah.
And I don't know the details about things like other people, but I was bleeding pretty badly, so they transported me to the hospital, and I didn't wake up for like a little over 5 days.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that shit was gnarly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
you never know.
How are you feeling these days? Are you feeling kind of back to Micky Dymond and you know, everything's?
I'm losing you, John.
You know, I was talking to you earlier about the Super Bowl. Now you're doing the halftime at the Super Bowl. It's pretty impressive. That was awesome.
Thanks. Yeah.
Tell us about that, Mick.
Well, I've worked with this company, All Access, since about Warped Tour, and then I did also the Boom Boom Huck Jam. I worked on that and helped with the motorcycle portion of that show. And All Access, they were the company that built it, so I got to know them way back when, and then have done many other things. Nuclear Cowboys, they built all of that. They built a lot of different things that even at Supercross now, you watch Supercross, all of the staging that is on the field, that's all Access. So we've kind of come through this time where there's a guy named Eric Eastland there, and he became my friend from, you know, when we first met in you know, those years with Tony Hawk, and he's worked with me for a lot of different things, and I've been working with those guys at All Access doing many different things, but a lot of the rolling stuff that we do on the field became kind of something that I did more than anything else that I did with them. So they keep having me back to work on other ones, and I'm super.
So tell us on like with the Super Bowl halftime, you were in charge of the field, and then there was other people that raised like Rihanna on those levels, and people were dancing, and you're responsible for everything on the field. Is that right?
For All Access, yes.
Yeah.
All that staging that was on the field. There's some other things too. There was lighting carts that were not. They're off on the sides. There's pre-game where they do the team introductions and have all that staging. We had a DJ out there about that time, and then also the post game when they hand the trophy to the winning team. That stuff we do as well, but the main stuff that we're doing is for the halftime show and all the staging that is on the field. And there's another company called Tate that did all of the 7 flying carts that Rihanna was revealed on or came down from to start that show. And there's other companies that you work with in the staging world that some of them are really great, and Tate and All Access. There's a couple others that are new that are pretty big, and some have been forever, and they're so great too. But that's like
Mickey, while we're on the subject of events, people don't know this, but you actually helped put on the first ever Crusty Demons show in Australia ever.
First ever live show.
Yeah, the first ever
Maestro,
live show.
If we could go to Crusty 5 and go to 2500.
Not only did you make the jumps massive, nobody wanted to jump them. You just jumped them for them. You showed them how to jump.
The shows that we did in Australia, the audience, the first one got like way bigger than we thought.
It ended up in a riot. I think there was cop cars were flipped over on fire and all kinds of stuff, and we had to shuttle you guys out so that we thought that maybe somebody was going to damage you guys, but all they wanted to do was put you guys up on a pedestal. If you remember Metzger trying to throw his helmet, remember, and they just grabbed the guy, tackled him into the ditch. If you remember that.
I do. And then I know that in the footage in the film, there was a point where people came running on the field after Metzger, and
they
started to tackle Metzger. So I'm in that video and throwing some kid up, hey.
And we finally figured out that all they want to do is like high five all the guys and put them on a pedestal, not like hit them or injure them. They were carrying Metzger around like he was a trophy.
That was
let's watch a little demo.
Strange place to build a freestyle track, but
it was in like a boat thing, a speedboat deal.
They do those little boat races in those courses.
They got rid of the water, and then you used all the dirt.
We did, and it came out pretty good. I'd say there was some big.
And Mickey, the cast of characters here that we're going to play, I believe you built the whole thing before we even got there, and then we got there, and it was Seth went, Carrie Hart, Link Ogle, Deegan, and Clifford Adoptante and Feist.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yep. And we had no idea where the hell is
All
Perth,
crusted
Australia.
out.
We had no idea where the hell is that place.
Let's let it rip. Let's check it.
Good.
Go, Maestro.
So you wanna be a champion?
There's Matt.
Oh, here they come.
He's taunting the crowd. That's when people start coming out, Mick.
This
Oh
guy
my
just
God.
Insane.
We thought this is like crazy.
Yeah, there's a
these
parking lot.
people are out of control and they're lighting things on fire. And
Yeah, a lot of people showed up there.
look, there's girls falling out of the audience and stuff. I remember when we got there, if you remember, there was a gang shooting between like we have the Hells Angels over here, the equivalent over there. And they followed us everywhere, like the equivalent of the FBI or whatever. There's your metal ramp right there. You had Deegan, Link Hogle. We didn't have pyro back then, but there was 2 guys that said, "Hey, we can blow fire." That was
cool.
Our first pyro.
Right on.
That was hard.
There's Deegs. That was the second one, Kalgoorlie.
Oh, that was the second one.
You built that.
Was in
You built that tunnel. Remember that went.
It was like a mining town.
Yeah. A lot of things were on fire.
But yeah, that was the birth of a Crusty tour right there, boy.
Yeah, the Metzger show was going on after he figured out those jumps. There's Vice. That was his signature move. There's Link Hogle's signature move. There's Cars on Fire.
Yeah, that was another Link move.
There's Mets. Thank you very much. Crustier than a $2 hooker. Nice sign in the crowd. People were freaking out. I don't know, Mick, there must have been like 20,000 people there. Look at that crowd. It's huge. And here they all come.
They all want autographs.
They all want Metzger. And that's it.
Is that
good times?
Is that me down?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can cut that one, Maestro.
Hey, go back a little bit, Maestro.
Want to go back? Hey, we can go back.
No, we're good. We're good. Come back to us.
Let's face down. I
It
did,
was
man.
that was there's a lot of cool things that we got to do, and
Yeah.
sometimes I'm
That
vague on the details now, but
that was in 1999, Mickey.
yeah, man, time flies.
1999.
Huh? Can you believe enough that this much time has gone by?
Wow.
Like
How crazy,
23 years.
Yeah. Well, we're all still alive, and we're talking here to people that can appreciate, how this sport was built. Originally, we called it free riding, and then it became freestyle, and then it got into like X Games and the gold medals and everything that you see now, and it's on television. And we were able to cover it in films with guys like yourself, and it's cool to look back at the fun times that we have, and it's all documented. It's like we don't need to tell people about what we did. They like to know the story behind the stuff, but we brought it to people pretty much in their homes. Back then, Mickey, it was VHS tapes.
Yeah.
We didn't have DVD. We didn't have streaming. We didn't have all these channels that you could find stuff. But it was VHS tape back then.
We didn't have cameras on our cell phones.
No.
Nope. We had big, heavy things that we'd hook up to your helmet. Right? You'd wear like a little
when you had
fanny
the helmet
pack,
cam,
and we'd have like a little camera on your helmet. Yeah.
yeah, it was heavy.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think we go back for the step up, Mick. I think we should track down the step up. Go for a redo. We'll
Well, I'd like to see somebody else hit that thing for sure. Yeah.
exactly.
That'd be cool.
Into that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is like a the up ramp and the landing would.
Yeah. Well, it's a one of a kind, Mickey.
Nice,
You
'cause
invented
it's like
it.
you
Yeah.
could go, drop into it.
Yeah.
Well, you got anything else we want to go through? Or should we sign this one out and come back around another time? How we
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably a good wrap.
All right, Mick. Well, straight up for now,
Perfect.
you're just to have it said, you're one of the most all-time free riders in the hills. Nobody has shoveled out shit like you shovel out. You know what I mean?
Thank you for.
There's people that come
Well,
close,
we
but
have,
I mean, fuck.
Probably, one of the top pioneers that we got to film with, and you guys showed us interesting things, is yourself and Brian Manley.
Hey, Mick, if I remember correctly, we booted that thing. We didn't even shovel it. We booted it. You know what I mean? That step up, we did it with boots. Remember that?
Yeah, there wasn't.
We used to bring.
We didn't have equipment. Yeah.
Well, hats off to you, Mick, because fuck, dude, you're one of the only couple people I've ever told not to jump in my career of filming.
I told Mickey earlier, if you can hear me, Mick, you got me? Are you there, Mick?
He might be losing you. Well, maybe we better blow it out.
There's only two people that Dana and I have said don't do that for a film, and that's you and Travis Pastrana.
I missed that.
Can you hear me? It's only you and Travis Pastrana that Dana and I ever said don't do that for our film.
As far as flagging off a jump, you know what I mean? Like
flagging you off, like no.
Yeah.
Well,
there's only a couple people that we saved it.
To you guys when I did.
All right, Mick. Well, it's been a pleasure.
I'd like to say that it was always an awesome thing to do, is to go and spend a weekend going out and riding with you guys. So, and we've crossed paths on many occasions since then. Yes. And I'm always happy to see you guys. So, until we see Manly, I would love to see Manly's. I'll be watching you guys' show. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
Sounds good. We had Manly on the other day. He's pretty impressive. He's out building the course for the Mint 400 right now. The Mint 400s this weekend, and he's out. He builds the infield. So he's out there pushing up sick ass truck jumps, man. Impressive.
Awesome.
Yeah.
He and I, before I got injured, he and I worked on a track at Sturgis with Jeff Ward and Matt, another builder. And
that's right.
Yeah, and we haven't really talked much after I was injured. So anyway.
Well, we'll put you guys back together.
Yeah, we'll have you and Manly on a podcast.
You and Manly can come back on the podcast together.
Yeah.
Well, I think we both.
That would be interesting.
We know each other pretty much as well as we could, especially through jumping and
and back racing and everything.
Sure, I've known Manly since I was 16. Like.
Yeah, did you ride with his dad? Did you ever ride with his dad in the hills? Manly's dad was a pretty good rider in the hills.
I never. I got to meet Bill and be around, but rode more with Brian than with Bill. But Brian and I went and rode a lot of we dug up a lot of stuff ourselves and jumped a bunch of different things. So
Well, Brian, my hat's off to Brian. He taught me a lot about riding in the hills. It's one of the reasons I could follow you guys around, is because of what Brian put me through and taught me the hard way, though. He always taught me the hard way.
Brian doesn't get a lot of credit for a lot of the stuff that he does because he's just that guy, he's just a giving guy, and that's what he would do any old time, so he doesn't,
absolutely,
but he does.
Well, probably same with you.
Stuff.
You guys are like-minded.
That fucker put me through all kinds of shit, though. He's like, Dana's gonna go on. He loved watching me eat shit. My shit came back broken. My subframes, my bars, my lever, everything was wasted on my bike when we came home from riding with Brian. But he taught me good, though. He taught me the hard way, I guess.
But you throw them off cliffs and on snowboards.
Yeah, we paid him back. Yeah, but no, like you said, man, he don't get enough credit. He's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But all right, then.
Well, Micky, this is an awesome one. Maybe next time, if we could put you and Brian together, that would be pretty fun.
Yeah.
A little history of you guys and how this whole freestyle thing came about. We touched on it a little bit here, but great to have you on our podcast. Always good to see you. We haven't seen you in a little while, but
yes,
always good to catch up. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes,
all right, brother.
Yeah. Take care, guys.
All right. Take care.
Thanks, Micky. All right, buddy. Cheers.
Thanks,
right,
gents.
see you later.
Later.